August 13th, 2013. A single developer would quietly release a game that no one expected to grow more than a few hundred players. This was Geometry Dash. At first, it was just a simple rhythm platformer. 7 main levels, 1 button, and a built-in editor. But that editor changed everything. It gave players the ability to create, share, and compete in an endless stream of levels. What followed wasn't just a game growing in popularity, it was the birth of one of the most competitive and content-driven communities in gaming history. This is the story of how Geometry Dash content evolved era by era and how a handful of players shaped the game forever. Era 1. The Birth Era. In 2013, right after RobTop released the video game Geometry Dash, we would start to see videos come out of levels not only included in the game, but also levels people would create. This was the time the Geometry Dash community was the smallest it ever would be. There were very few people creating these videos and growing the game, though 2 names would help make this game mainstream. The first of these creators was the real Darnock, or Darnock for short. Darnock was renowned for being the first player and creating the first custom level. Darnock was posting everything, from completions to his levels. Everything he posted would eventually go down in history. He was the first in everything in this realm and brought much more light to the community. The other creator that was part of this era will not be named for controversies surrounding them. I unfortunately cannot go through this section without talking about his uploads though, as they have shaped the future of Geometry Dash forever. The unnamed creator would post showcases of every main level before most players had even heard of Geometry Dash, and before Kellencraft, a Geometry Dash player, was even born. These videos have amassed more views than most creators see in a lifetime, and were the first things any new player would watch, with even many new players still going to view them now. This period marked the birth of Geometry Dash content creation, laying the foundation for both the player base and the creator-driven community that would follow. Era 2. Demon and Skill Showcase Era. By 2014, Geometry Dash's player count would grow, and with that, the difficulty of levels would as well.
How long is this going to take?
This would lead to the next big era of Geometry Dash content creation. It started off simple, just some level showcases as continuations of the previous era. But the rise of one player would change this. Michigan came in and quickly became one of the most recognizable people in Geometry Dash. His levels and completions were far beyond what most players could achieve at the time, not because they were impossible, but because his skill was unmatched. Levels like the Temple series showcased a level of consistency and precision that the community had never seen before. Michigan's rise would inspire 2 more players to rise to the scene, Riot and Cyclic. With these 2 players having a skill set way past that of anyone else, they would push the demon difficulty farther than ever expected. With this rise came a new trend for content. Players began streaming and uploading their hardest completions, shifting Geometry Dash content away from pure showcases and toward demonstrations of raw skill. While commentary was still minimal, difficulty itself had become the main attraction, a trend that would only grow in the years to follow. Era 3. The Extreme Demon and Drama Era. By 2015, Geometry Dash was no longer just growing, it was accelerating. Difficulty, viewership, and competition were all increasing at the same time, setting the stage for the most dramatic era the game had ever seen. Riot and Cyclic sat at the top of the community, and the debate over who was better divided players everywhere. That debate would peak with one level: Bloodbath. When Riot uploaded his completion of Bloodbath, it wasn't just another hard level. It was a defining moment. No one else could come close, and for months, Riot looked untouchable. To many, the race for the best player was over. But Cyclic's supporters weren't convinced. Cyclic was known for pushing mechanics beyond what anyone thought possible. That reputation culminated in his upload of Buff Sonic Wave, a level so far ahead of its time that it was considered effectively impossible. Then, on March 5th, 2016, everything changed. Cyclic posted a short message confirming what no one expected. He hacked Sonic Wave, and other completions as well. With that single admission, the competitive landscape collapsed overnight. Riot was now widely accepted as the best player in the world, but that era of dominance wouldn't last. Riot failed at 96 on Sonic Wave and eventually dropped the level, slowly fading from the spotlight. 2 new names would rise in his place: Sunix and Trusta. Sunix picked up Sonic Wave and progressed at an incredible pace, eventually verifying it on November 25th, 2016. While controversy followed with accusations that the verification should have belonged to Riot, one thing was undeniable: Sunix had proven himself at the highest level. At the same time, Trusta would shock the community by completing Sakup in Hell, a level long considered impossible. With Wave gameplay still just emerging, this achievement redefined what top-level skill meant in Geometry Dash. By the end of 2016, the game had entered a new phase. Extreme Demons weren't just challenges, they were spectacles. High-level play had become the center of Geometry Dash content. Era 4. Personality and Commentary Era. The previous era had pushed Geometry Dash content to new heights, but it came with a trade-off. Geometry Dash content was almost entirely skill-based, where simply uploading a completion of a difficult level was enough to gain attention. Over time, this began to shift. Commentary was added, sometimes during completions, sometimes afterward, or even through video descriptions. What mattered was no longer just which level was being completed, but who was completing it. Streaming enabled this transition. Dedicated Geometry Dash creators began live streaming regularly, allowing for real-time interaction with viewers. This direct engagement created stronger loyalty between creators and their audiences, further elevating the importance of commentary. The trend continued to evolve with creators such as Laserbeam and Matt Shea, whose Let's Plays videos emphasize reactions and humor over difficulty. Geometry Dash content was no longer limited to completion videos, but became closely tied to the personalities behind them.
G'day fellas, Laserbeam here!
This reaction-based format led to the rise of near-completion videos. These moments of failure, frustration, and excitement resonated strongly with viewers. As these clips spread, they introduced new players to the Geometry Dash and significantly expanded the game's content reach. By the end of this era, commentary had become essential. Geometry Dash was no longer just about completing levels, it was about sharing the experience, laying the groundwork for every content era that followed. Era 5, the Gimmick Video Era. By 2017, Geometry Dash content had largely peaked with commentary and skill-based videos. Creators seeking new ways to stand out began experimenting with what became known as gimmick videos. Content focused on unique challenges, creative limitations, or unconventional concepts rather than pure skill. One of the earliest and most influential examples was Dorami's challenge series. Dorami invited the community to submit difficult or unusual challenge, which he would then showcase in his videos. This allowed fans to directly contribute to the content, strengthening the bond between creators and their audiences. Topi took a different approach. Instead of simple, repetitive challenges, he popularized spam-focused gameplay, turning it into visually entertaining and highly difficult challenges. Topi's videos helped bring spam mechanics into the mainstream of Geometry Dash content, inspiring many other creators to follow his style. Other creators pushed the format further. Some challenges were even created specifically for Geometry Dash YouTubers, blending community involvement with entertainment. New trends, such as EVW's recent tab videos, also emerged, experimenting with novel content types and showcasing levels in innovative ways. The gimmick era demonstrated that Geometry Dash content was no longer just about skill or commentary. Creativity, experimentation, and community involvement had become just as important. These innovations expanded the possibilities of the game and created a template for future content creators. Era 6, the 2.2 hype and variety era. By 2019, the hype and wait for 2.2 was at an all-time high. It had been years since the last update, and the content ideas began to feel repetitive. The community had to be more creative, and creative they were. GD started this creativity surge. He was innovative for his time and was way ahead of the curve, with videos like 100 annoying things about Geometry Dash, making Geometry Dash ads, and Geometry Dash Randomizer. These innovative and creative ideas would force other creators to think past older eras and create new, more engaging content. Animation-based content also began to flourish. Videos such as Geometry Dash Animation, The Dual Portal, gained traction, introducing new storytelling and visual techniques that reflected a growing desire for diverse content. Another major addition during this era was the creation of the Geometry Dash Awards. Hosted by Viprin, the awards functioned like that of the Streamer or Music Awards, celebrating achievements such as Best Player, Best Creator, and Best Content Creator. The success of the awards in their first year provided creators with insight to what audiences wanted, helping guide future content trends. Despite all these new developments, traditional gimmick videos remained popular. Creators adapted existing formats with subtle innovations, including 2.2 themed jokes and new editor tricks, keeping older ideas fresh while still appealing to the community. This era demonstrated a balance between innovation and tradition, showing that creativity, experimentation, and audience engagement could coexist with established content styles to shape the future of Geometry Dash. Era 7, Streaming and Highlights Era. This era is arguably the most important in Geometry Dash content history, defined by a single global event. On March 13, 2020, the world entered a pandemic, and with it came a period of unexpected free time for many creators and viewers. As quarantine began, streaming emerged as a dominant content format. New faces entered the scene, while established creators finally had the opportunity to explore streaming more regularly. Tactical was a leading force during this shift. Previously limited by school and other commitments, Tactical now streamed frequently, showcasing his skill by completing top demons with apparent ease. His streams attracted large audiences and helped fuel a second wave of streaming content. Juniper was the first to fully embrace commentary-driven streaming.
What's hopping?
Known less for skill and more for her welcoming and entertaining personality, she created a unique environment for viewers. She also pioneered a new format, trimming streams into highlights that showcase the best moments. This idea quickly spread to other streamers. Nepesta elevated this format even further. Charismatic, witty, and highly skilled, he combined top-level gameplay with humor, creating some of the most engaging highlights in the community. His reaction to beating Kinos became a standout clip, shooting him to fame. Together, Technical, Juniper, and Nepesta became central figures in the creation of the Kinos, the first content-driven group in Geometry Dash, built not around skill alone, but around collaboration and friendship. This group reshaped streaming culture. Calls between creators became common, friends were regularly included in content, new groups formed, and even in-person meetups began. The pandemic era demonstrated that Geometry Dash content could thrive on personality, creativity, and collaboration, not just skill. It set a new standard for community-driven streaming that would influence the game for years to come. Era 8. Shorts, TikTok, and fast content era. As quarantine began to ease and viewers had less free time, creators faced a new challenge: how to capture attention in less time. The answer came from a platform that was already growing in popularity: TikTok. By bringing short-form content to a massive audience, TikTok introduced a new way for creators to share content more frequently and more efficiently. Geometry Dash content quickly adapted to this trend. With traditional stream highlights less effective in this new format, creators turned to two strategies. First, they published funny or exciting short clips from streams. Second, they revisited older eras, condensing challenge levels or unique gameplay into bite-sized videos. Both approaches performed exponentially well and became a foundation for emerging creators. Some creators like It's Edra GD built entire audiences around short-form content, posting only challenges or condensed level runs. This approach helped them amass millions of subscribers, signaling the full shift towards shorts as a dominant content format. The rise of short-form videos not only reshaped Geometry Dash content during this period, but it also laid the groundwork for growth in later areas, including the massive creator expansion in Sheen in the current 2022-2023 era. Era 9. 2.2 release era. Two words would change Geometry Dash and its content forever. Check Steam.
Oh my god! Okay, it's happening!
Update 2.2 was the largest update the game had ever seen, bigger than updates released for many AAA games. It added everything from new camera effects and blocks to an entirely new platformer mode, expanding the possibilities for gameplay and content creation. Naturally, this update transformed Geometry Dash content. With so much to explore, discuss, and experiment with, creators quickly shifted their focus to 2.2. But the update also had another major effect. It brought returning players back into the community. Veterans like Riot, Technical, Nepesta, and many others began uploading consistently once again, reviving the scene. As 2.2 drew attention, streams surged and short-form content thrived more than ever. The game returned to the mainstream spotlight, and with it, Geometry Dash content exploded. Era 10. Modern GD content era. After the release of 2.2, Geometry Dash content didn't just survive. It grew larger than ever. Vortrox, for example, quickly rose in popularity, drawing more players to the community. Yet, one unexpected event and streamer would accelerate the game's growth like nothing before. King Samelot, an American Geometry Dash streamer, had been part of the community for years, but his energetic personality and passion during this period drew unprecedented attention. His growth led to appearances on Kai Cenat's stream and Streamer University, exposing Geometry Dash as the audience far beyond the traditional community. These milestones elevated King Samelot to heights no GD streamer had reached before, and once again pushed the game into the mainstream spotlight. Inspired by his growth, other creators also expanded their audiences. One of the most influential of these groups was TCD, a collective of top-tier players including Doggy and Cursed. Through collaborative content and high-level gameplay, TCD brought streaming attention back to levels reminiscent of the COVID era. Perhaps the most impactful figure of this era, however, was skullzieee, one of the largest gaming streamers on Twitch. Discovering Geometry Dash, he committed fully, completing all main non-demon levels, with now even beating Clubstep and Toe 2, and actively engaging with the community. skullzieee collaborated with known players such as Zoink and Doggy, streaming their interactions and sharing with a massive audience. These collaborations would draw new players, expand fan bases, and push the game's popularity to unprecedented heights. skullzieee also showed top-level gameplay by streaming with Doggy. Doggy was still progressing through grief at this time and was able to show his work to skullzieee on stream. Thousands of viewers would witness top-level play in real time, further inspiring new players to join the community. Beyond Twitch, TikTok streaming became a powerful driver of growth. Creators like Asa Base and Cooper Mitchell used short, engaging live clips to reach audience who might never have seen Geometry Dash elsewhere. With this, Geometry Dash was everywhere, from Twitch, TikTok, and YouTube. With these collaborations, high-level play, and the rise of short-form streaming, the content meta evolved into a mix of full-stream highlights and short clips. Geometry Dash had grown into a phenomenon, spanning every corner of the internet. And yet, with all this momentum, the question remained: where do we go from here? With 2025 behind us and 2026 just beginning, it's incredible to look back at the last 12 years of Geometry Dash. Today, we see creators with subscriber counts that have surpassed the total views of most videos from 2013, a testament to how far the game has come. Geometry Dash is no longer a single path or a single type of content. From skill-based completions to reaction videos, creative challenges, collaborations, and short-form clips, the possibilities are endless. The game has expanded to something much bigger than what most could have imagined 12 years ago. And so, this is the history of Geometry Dash content creation. A story of players, creators, and a community that continues to push boundaries. I know this isn't my usual type of video, but if you have enjoyed it, feel free to hit the like button and subscribe. Or don't, I won't hold it against you.